Hey, it's a great day. This is Mike Current, Energizer, and in this video I'm going to go through my mental preparation and strategy for the Appalachian Trail. So let's do this. So in the words of the great Yogi Berra, it's 80% mental and the other half is physical. Mental preparation, or the mental challenge of a through hike, is an often brought up topic in a lot of these social media forums, but it kind of ends right there. You know, there's really no so what do you do after that? So that's why I'm making this video, to go through how I mentally prepare for my through hike, and then the strategies I use to get me through mentally through my through hike. So the first thing that I do to mentally prepare myself for a through hike is I physically train for the hike. Now I will go in detail in my next video about my physical training program. I will go through that in detail. But I get up every day and I prepare and I train every day for my hike. For the purposes of this video, I'll talk about the mental conditioning that goes with that physical training. It takes mental discipline to get up every day and train for a hike. It does. You know, and I'm getting old. It's not getting easier for me. When I made the announcement I'm going to be going on the Appalachian Trail, and I designed my training program for that, and I started that, it was not easy. At the beginning, I felt like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon.
Too old for this shit.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. And I had to encourage myself every day when I got up. I'd have to sit there and go, Mike, you can do this. You can do this. It's okay. You can do this. And I'd get out there and I'd start at it and I'd go. And at the end of that training, it'd be like, boy, that sucked, you know? But I kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. And then at some point it transitioned to where, if you watched Rocky 3, you know, in the rematch with Clubber Lang, round 3, when Rocky really is starting to realize his capabilities and his potential, and he starts taunting Clubber Lang.
Ain't so bad, ain't so bad. Go on, ain't so bad.
You crazy. Yeah, I might be crazy, but at least I'm not breathing heavy. I mean, that's what it starts to get like. You know, developing the eye of the tiger.
Eye of the tiger, up and down.
So now, when I begin my day in my physical training program, it's no longer, hey Mike, you can do this. It's, I got this. I got this. And at the end of my training, I'm no longer saying, you know, that sucked. No. Now, I'm saying, hey Mike, you're a beep, and you're going to eat up the Appalachian Trail like it was candy. Yeah.
I'll bust you up. What?
So that's the first thing I do to mentally prepare for a through hike, is I physically train for it. Now the second thing that I do to mentally prepare for a through hike is I went on a diet. And you're like, what? You know? Yes, another physical endeavor with a mental component to it. But I went on a diet. I dropped 12 pounds off my body, got my body mass index, or BMI, down to 21, which is healthy but lean. I will talk more about that in another video entitled Weight Matters, where I take a holistic look at through hiking weight. For the purposes of this video, raise your hand, particularly if you are over the age of 50. Raise your hand if you think dieting is hard. Yeah, you know, it is really hard. It is. It takes mental discipline to go on a diet and lose that weight. But for every pound that I dropped off the body, I added another brick to my mental toughness wall.
All in all, it's just another brick in the wall.
So for me, when I arrive at Springer Mountain, it is not going to be the start of some existential journey. It is going to be just another step in a process that began months ago. Between my training program and my dieting to get ready for the trail, I am already mentally invested in my hike. I have already got skin in the game. So that's the second thing that I did to get ready mentally for my through hike, is I went on a diet. Now the third thing that I did was I thought of that one thing, that why I am on the trail. Now I know if you read about preparing mentally for a through hike, particularly if you read Zach Badger Davis's book, Appalachian Trails, he discusses creating a list of reasons why you are on the trail. And I'm not saying you can't have reasons why you're out on the trail, why you're there and you're going to enjoy it and that sort of thing. I'm not saying that. But for me, there can be only one why, one mission statement, one objective, one thing on the list.
There can be only one!
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
One.
And that thing has to be ingrained in your head. I mean, if you have to write it down, it's not part of you enough. And if you train for a through hike, well, you'll have plenty of time to mentally get that thing down into your head. But it has to be ingrained in your head. And it has to be inextricably tied to you hiking the Appalachian Trail. In other words, you can't accomplish that one thing without getting up every day, putting miles on the trail, and completing the hike. Because if it is not inextricably tied to hiking the trail, then at some point, when the through hiker is tired and cold or hot and hungry and wet and covered in bug bites, all too often they are going to break out that list and look at it and realize that they don't need to be hiking to complete that list. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, I want to do these things, but I can be doing these things while sitting on a beach in Cancun. And they will rationalize themselves right off the trail. So it needs to be inextricably tied to hiking the trail. So that's the third thing that I did. I'm not going to share that why with you. It's personal to me. But I think you develop your why. But I developed my why, and I've got it ingrained in my head. Now, although I did not write it down, I did buy an Appalachian Trail patch. There is a backstory behind this, If you watched Old Man in the PCT, my lessons learned video, you know the backstory. I'm not going to get into that here, but suffice it to say for this video that you will not see on me a hat or a shirt or socks or anything that has Appalachian Trail on it. Because in my mind, and again, this is my mental game, in my mind, I have not earned the right to wear it. I mean, not even that little tag that I'm going to get at Amicalola Falls State Park that says I'm, you know, through hiking the AT. I'm going to pick one up, but you will never see it on my ruck. But I did buy an Appalachian Trail patch, and this patch will remain hidden inside the ruck the entire time. And late at night, when I'm sitting in my tent, nobody's watching, I will break out the patch and I will stare at it, and it will help me focus on why, that one why I am hiking the Appalachian Trail. So that's the third thing. I really figured out why I'm on the trail, and I've got something to help me focus in on it. So the fourth thing, and this is one of my strategies while on the trail, is I never try to swallow the watermelon. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you read the book A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, spoiler alert, you know, Bill and Steve go on their excellent adventure, but a couple 100 miles into that, they get off the trail, they go to a hotel, they go to a place where they can see one of those big maps, you know, that shows the entire Appalachian Trail. And they can see where they're at and how much they've done, and they know how hard it's been so far. And then they look at the entire trail and how much more they've got to go, and they try to mentally take all that in. And that one moment, all that hardship, all that pain, all those miles, they try to mentally take in right at that one moment. And if you read the book, you know that's it. They look at it and say, we are never going to complete this through hike. And they go on to do sections of the trail, but their through hike is essentially over at that point. For me, I just never try to swallow the watermelon. I always just try to focus in on the day. What am I doing that day? And the most I will look out is my next resupply. You know, how, and only for that is I got to know how much food I need between where I'm at and where I'm going so I can get the next food. That's as far as I look out. I think when I was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, I shocked some people because of that attitude. You know, I think they watched my videos, Old Man in the PCT. They recognized me, probably recognized the hat. And so they would ask me questions. You know, they'd sit there and go, well, we're here and this is 150 miles away. What do you think, you know, as far as strategy and how far? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, and they kind of stare at me. And then they would go, well, where are you going to camp tonight? And I'd go, I don't know. I get up in the morning and I start walking. And I stop walking when I'm either tired or the sun goes down. And sometimes not even then. I just stay focused on what I'm trying to do. I never try to swallow more than the moment. Now, to help me do that, I do develop a cheat sheet, a game plan. If you've watched any football game, you know, you see the offensive coordinator and he's talking into the mic and he's holding a card over him and it's all of the plays that he's going to do. I develop something like that. I take all my research and I do a lot of planning before I get on the trail. I know a lot about the trail. And I put all of that energy into this one document that I laminate, and I take it with me on the trail. And it's not mileage based, it's not time based, it's as flexible as a football game plan. It's condition based, but it has all my higher thinking. So all I have to do is when I'm in a certain point, I look at it and I go, okay, so this is the next big decision I've got to make. And then I make that decision, and then I move on and I get back into staying in the moment. On the Pacific Crest Trail, if you watch my videos for that, you know, I never even thought about the northern terminus, the finish line, until I was in Thru-Hike, 90 miles from the terminus, the border. That was it. I never before that thought about, hey, you know, how far do I got? You know, am I gonna make it? Nothing like that. I never thought of it until that point. And the only reason I thought about it then is because I had to calculate how much food I needed to get to that point and then back down to Hart's Pass so I can hitch a ride. But that was the first time it came into my head that, hey, I'm going to complete this hike. For the rest of the time I was on trail, I just focused in on the moment. So that's the fourth thing that I do, is I never try to swallow the watermelon, stay focused. And the fifth thing, and another strategy for while I am hiking, is I just try to find humor in arduous situations. I just laugh at the moment. I mean, when it's raining and I'm cold or I'm hot, or, you know, things are just not going well. And there were plenty of times on a trail when things just aren't ideal. They are not going well. And then something additional will happen, and it'll be like the absurdity of the situation.
It's gone, Mr. Furrow.
I just start laughing at it. I go, wow, this is just absolutely absurd. And then I revel in the fact that, yes, I'm in an absurd situation, but I am alive to experience it. I was in the military for 30 years. I have lost too many friends and colleagues. In fact, I just this week, I got another email for a memorial service for one of my colleagues that's coming up. Too many people don't have the chance that you and I will have hiking the trail. So for me, I just find humor in it. I enjoy every moment. I enjoy that situation. Because I don't know if I'm going to get it again.
There's no tomorrow.
So those are the 5 things I do to mentally prepare myself for the Appalachian Trail. Like I said in this video, I will do another video where I go into detail about my physical training, and I will do another video, a different one, on how I holistically look at weight and how important it is for a thru hiker, in my mind, how important it is for a thru hiker to look at weight holistically. If you like my videos, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll continue to take this journey together. It's going to be great.